to the City of Owatonna team. Helping to develop this slide deck was one of their projects, so very grateful for them. And we also have a part-time deputy clerk in the budget. That was one of the part-time positions that came out of the staffing analysis in the FNP. And we also have some proposed increases to election worker pay rates, which council would see on that seasonal temporary pay rate schedule that will come forward to you for approval.
Can I also add it's just the point where I can add
Yes,
something
please do.
about, you'll see in here, if I talk about the council mayor's budget, we committed to the CGM, the Coalition of Great Minnesota Conferences, what I thought was gonna be about 15, I put down to 10 after learning a little bit more conversations with some other hosting cities. At $10,000 is what we put in there to host that conference. And then I also added some additional fees in the legal fees just to keep pace with, we signed with an agreement with the Steele County attorney that works with our police department. They prosecute for us. So I did put a 4% increase for their fee, and then I increased the city attorney fee a little bit too. So that's why you're seeing a little bit of movement in the city attorney or in the attorney fees, and then the mayor and council. And I did put a little bit of a wage increase. I should call it a wage. I should call it a stipend increase for our council and mayor in there for conversation probably later to see if we could do it. It's just a few $1,000s, but just trying to keep current on what we have our elected officials paid at. So.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Can I ask a question? Emma, if you can go back on one slide. So, how many FTEs are we looking at adding in the administration side? I realize it's part-time.
It'd be a 0.5.
0.5. So of the 3, it's 0.5.
Correct.
You know, I would reiterate what you said. The interns were fabulous. We appreciate what they did. I mean, a lot of those accomplishments that you outlined were done by them. So thank you. That's it.
Okay, another high-level slide regarding revenues for the mayor and council, admin, and elections budgets. And then we get to finance. So our team in finance, we have a finance director, 1 full-time accounting analyst, a full-time senior accounting specialist, a full-time accounting specialist, and then 2 part-time 0.5 FTE accounting clerks. And I'm happy to say our team is almost fully staffed here, so very excited about that. The finance department's we believe statement. In the finance department, we believe that our financial resources make possible the services that are essential to the safety, livability, and vitality of our community. The finance department creates a better tomorrow by partnering with all city departments to steward the citizens' shared financial resources efficiently, effectively, and responsibly. Some of the achievements within the finance department over the past year, we completed a successful audit, including the work necessary to position the city to apply for the GFOA award. A lot of that audit prep work was headed up by Jody and her team, so a big thank you to her. We established a new finance department structure. And that really was, kind of plays into the next bullet point. We added that 0.5 admin clerk position this year, and part of the reason behind that is we needed to strengthen some of those internal controls, and we wanted to improve the segregation of duties, better align staff responsibilities, and make sure that we had appropriate cross-training to make sure that we had no interruption in service. And we also implemented monthly financial reporting to council to improve transparency. So you have seen the past couple of months those financial reports in the council packet. That will continue to happen moving forward. Opportunities and challenges within the finance department. Our current financial system is creating some challenges with reporting, efficiency, and ease of access to information. We have learned over the past year that some of the capabilities maybe aren't functioning the way that they should be. They do have some engineers working on them. City staff spends a lot of time working on that as well, so we'll continue to troubleshoot that. We also have some instability in data reporting. Has that instability in reporting requires additional staff time to review, reconcile, and really validate to make sure that the decisions are based on that confident data that we're bringing forward to you. And continued focus is needed on improving system processes, data reliability, and long-term reporting capabilities.
Yeah. Well, do we have the right software to do that, or do we have the wrong programs? I mean, you know, it should almost be, the programs you can get now should almost be.
We're actively assessing that, and I hope to have a more confident answer for you in the near future.
Thank you.
Okay, so expenses within the finance department. Notable changes. So we are allocating some funds to support audit prep and financial system challenges. We will be welcoming a new finance director to our team this fall, and we want to make sure that we set that new director up for success. So we are planning for some dialed back audit prep support from the ABDO team, just to make sure that we can keep our finance department at the top of their game moving forward. And we also shifted some of those software expenses out of the finance department budget into the information technology budget. So fees for OpenGov and UKG are two significant shifts that we moved over to the IT budget. And we did have an addition of a seasonal temporary finance intern. Again, we've seen great success with the interns this summer, so we want to continue doing that. I think it is a win-win program for both the city and for those interns. Recruitment is incredibly important in public service, so if we can attract some strong interns and show them what it looks like and feels like to work in public service as they grow into their careers, hopefully that serves the greater good for many communities.
Emily, we go back one slide, please.
Yeah, for sure.
This is just the difference in 26 to 27. We go up about $120,000. That's wage increases probably. Is there other notable large?
The audit prep is the biggest one, and then a little bit for that seasonal temporary intern.
Those are the changes, and again, we'll see some of that money moving a little bit. I know you guys hate the moving the money, but what we're really trying to do is get work aligned with work. So if you're seeing stuff happening on buildings, it's coming out of the building budget. If you're seeing stuff happening on vehicles, it's happening there. If you're seeing stuff coming out of IT, you shouldn't see IT sprinkled through there. We're hoping that if we bring in those aligned services under that budget, we should be able to track that and understand it more as a whole instead of having it sprinkled through everybody's budget a little bit. So people have software tied into their budgets, we're trying to move those out and put them in the IT budget. So then Ryan's budget will actually probably look like an increase, but you should see in other areas that those budgets reduced in those line items to fill that. So.
The other piece that I didn't have on the PowerPoint presentation, but earlier this year, council approved an agreement with a new auditing firm, and that was for, I believe, a 3-year agreement, and so those costs are also reflected in this operating budget.
Just a quick comment. So essentially what we're doing is replacing those services that they provided with our own staff now, but we're supplementing a little bit of that as an audit firm.
To ensure a smooth transition, Correct.
So as we would move forward to next budget cycle, we should see some changes coming. So I
Right,
do
let's-
appreciate what you did.
Probably less audit, because once we have our finance director on there, there should be less
Sure,
difference.
sure. So it's a transitionary year now, so we're seeing a little bit more uptick, which
Correct.
we would expect in 28 to see that kind of drop off, although it would probably.
Something else, okay.
So.
Question, go back to the last slide you're on. Sorry about that. So you mentioned that we're moving some software out of finance into the IT budget, but we still have a $120,000 increase in finance. Can you explain how much, what dollar amount is that is being transferred to IT? Because we can really understand the true impact of the budget increase for finance, because I heard you say that we're moving some of those funds out of finance into IT, but we still have a $120,000 increase, but it's really more than $120,000 if you count the monies that we're transferring to IT.
Correct. And that level of detail will be included on those reports that we will share with council, so you can see more of the line by line detail.
And we'll highlight that for you so you can see it too.
Yep.
These are good questions because it helps us prepare for the next round too, so we can understand the detail you want.
Okay, human resources, I'll hand it over to Rachel Boss, our HR director.
All right, hello everyone. So our human resources department is made up of myself as well as 2 lovely HR specialists full-time. So we're a strong team of 3. So our department purpose is we believe that healthy and effective organizations start with people. The Human Resources Department creates a better tomorrow by partnering with and supporting each city department and its employees to attract, develop, reward, and retain high-performing workforce. So some of our 2026 achievements, so we have been working hard. We have successfully recruited and onboarded 101 seasonals, which is typical every single year. We onboarded as well as 16 regular employees and 88 election judges, and we could not have done that alone, so we really appreciate the help of those interns that kind of stepped in and helped out with that process. We also launched and fully implemented a new Learn and Perform NeoGov system, so we did have systems that ran on multiple different platforms, so we brought that onto our one platform that we were using for recruiting, which was NeoGov, and tried to bring them all together to have less platforms out there. We also reduced the organizational medical claims by implementing our new Healthiest You program. So just within 5 months of implementing it last year, back in August, we did save $18,000 worth of medical claims just in those 5 months. So it's been a very valuable resource to our employees, and they very much appreciated that. We also have executed our organizational structure changes, so that has been out there and communicated. A lot of hard work with moving things around and then hiring for those positions as well as helping train. And then we also rolled out our organization-wide DISC assessments and ongoing training sessions. We really found the importance of really investing in our employees and having them know a little bit about themselves to help them become a better workforce. Some opportunities and challenges that we face. So with transitions, we have been doing a lot of recruiting for our leadership roles. So being able to attract and find those right people that fit within our organization. We also worked on expanding our employee development programs, trying to get some resources out there, but then now bring them in-house and figuring out how we can train our employees fastest from every single level throughout the organization. We also worked on navigating and managing multiple different software platforms and trying to bring them all together as much as possible. And then implemented the new Minnesota paid leave and other policy changes that the state and federal level has set forth for us.
Rachel, before you move on from that one, I know that Minnesota paid leave is an interest of this council.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us just a little bit about that. How much was hard portion, I know there was two options, like we could go to the state or we could do our own. Will you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, so there was the state option, or the state also allows different organizations to be able to go to an equivalent plan through a private vendor. So we did end up going through an equivalent plan through Madison National Life. We did receive a better rate than the state was providing. So the state was 8.88% of payroll premiums for payment, but the private plan was giving us a rate of 0.78. So that was very valuable to us. As I've been talking to other cities and different areas and organizations that went through different, some of the state, some of the private was the best option to go for. State seeing about 8 weeks sometimes for payments to be received for those people that are needing those leaves. And those private plans were getting people approved in payments within 1 to 2 weeks. So that's been very valuable when you are going out without an income. You want to really see those payments come through, especially when you're out for a time of need. So it's been going pretty good. We definitely had employees use it, whether it's 1 or 2 weeks or whether it's the full allowed time. They're able to take that time that they need to take care of themselves. They're able to get back to work and help us out in the best condition they can.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it costs? Like, what was our premium? Do you know? I'm asking these to think on your feet, so let's see how you do.
Yeah, so it's 0.78% of the payroll.
And do you know what that number was? Was it like
I want to say it was about 180,000.
180,000 was our portion? 100% of it?
Correct.
So just to give you an idea of what that number was. And for next year in 2027, is it staying the same?
So right now, the state has put out as of July 31st that they are not increasing the premiums. So that is very shocking and huge. So we have not heard quite from our private vendor what our rate will be, but I would anticipate it not changing.
Just to give you a little more.
Rachel, quick question. We've seen election judges on the screen a number of times tonight, and I think if I understood right, the state changed some rules on that, so they have to literally be a city employee for that day or something to those sorts. Does that sound accurate?
It is appropriate that we hire them as city employees since we are setting their schedule, setting their pay rate, assigning their tasks. Some communities were paying their election workers through accounts payable. And through a training that I had gone to earlier this year, learned that it's a best practice to make sure that you're paying them through payroll as an employee, so we made that shift.
I've got a question on that as well. The election this fall is federal, state, county, school board, city. Do we get compensation back from the school or the county? Because we have a lot of expense on this. Are we on the hook for all of the judges ourselves, even though they're doing county work and school work as well?
We're responsible for those wages.
Have we ever asked for compensation back?
I don't know that we get those back. We can follow up on it, but
Because that's, and I'll go a step further, just city employees taking the voting machines to all of the areas. It's a lot of money and we've got the primary next week that they will be doing that as well,
yeah, we do a
of which the city has nothing on the docket for that next week, and yet we're paying all of the wages.
Yes. And Jody, I don't know if you know any more about all those stuff, but my understanding from Jeanette is the city is responsible for those. So it's kind of like one of those unfunded mandates.
Gotcha, thank you.
But I'll follow up to confirm my understanding of it.
Mayor and Council, I agree. I have not seen that in any other community that are clients of mine. And then also, I have seen, so you can check that, is sometimes they do reimburse for rent the equipment. So that's the only reimbursement, but not for wages. So we could check on that.
Okay, thank you.
And our wages are low compared to other election judges, so that's why we're trying to take a couple of years at trying to do a little bit of a movement on the wage.
Okay, Dan?
Not a budget question, but curious. I believe I read that about 16% of the workforce has applied for the paid time off. Is that about correlated or even with what the city of Oaktown is experiencing?
I would say, yeah, probably pretty close. Probably a little under that, but.
Thank you.
So here's the expenses that the Human Resource Department is looking at. So you'll notice a decrease, and we'll get into that when we talk about those major changes. So like Emily and Jenna stated, we are trying to centralize those fundings to where they need to be. So with the, we had a few different softwares that fell under the HR budget that will be moving over to the IT budget. So you'll see that when he presents, as well as HR held an amount for advertising and marketing as we did different things and bought supplies for the city. We found that that was best to be centralized within the administration budget. And then we are looking to allocate some funds towards a class and compensation study. The city has not gone through a process like that since 2016. It is best practice for every 3 to 5 years for organizations to relook at this in some capacity to make sure that they are being in the market, as well as we want to be able to make sure that we're able to recruit and retain the correct talent. And then also with the timing of our organizational change, it's a good time to relook at and make sure that we are compliant with how we kind of reallocated everything. And it goes along with our focus area of organizational effectiveness.
Rachel, if I can just comment on that last line there, that's a big deal to do. And I think in 2016, when it was done, it was a big impact. But because of our efforts of keeping up on these wages, we're hoping that we're in line, or we're gonna see good reports out of this. So, but it is best practice to do it every 4 years, and it's 10 years in. So we do need to do our piece so we don't fall behind if we are behind.
Correct. 2 years ago, we did implement a area for if employees felt like they were working out of class, that they would go through a classification review process. So we have been trying to be a little bit strategic on that if people did bring things forward, we were reviewing those in an appropriate manner, as well as if the position seemed to change quite a bit. So again, 30% of the job would have to change in order for them to recommend it go through that process, but at least we have been getting through a few so that we wouldn't see much of an impact.
This is a total study, which it's needed, I don't disagree, but that comes at fairly substantial expense. But yeah, it needs to be done. Thank you.
That's all I have. I'll pass it over to Ryan.
Okay, before Ryan goes, we are going to take a 3-minute break, and then we will get back. Go ahead, Dan.
Is the motion ready?
I see it was a timing stuff there to come up.
Hey Marcy, how you doing? Good, how are you? Did you get some documents?
Yes, it's true, not here. Glasses were. mean, my forehead is tan, but it's blue.
You know, that FG.
No, it's 5.
It's 5 something, it's not 6.
I think you realize that you cut it off. It's okay.
How are you doing?
We didn't really get these we did those kindness processes. Mistake.
Jody, do you need any water? Thank you. How's it going? Good.
Absolutely.
Hey Kevin, as we get back, Jody did send me the reference to the statute, Minnesota statute that says we are responsible for paying the wages of our elected judges.
Sounds like a former school board member would have come up with that.
So, follow the law.
Thank you. Yeah. It's still showing. All right, we will resume and we will go to Ryan Brown. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just talk a little bit about the IT department, how we're organized. So we have myself, and then we have now we have 3 system administrators, and the technology specialist is not filled right now, and then the GIS analyst has been moved under the IT department too, and we will talk about that further in the presentation. So, as a department, we believe that technology is a great enabler for education, operational excellence, and connection. The Information Technology Department creates a better tomorrow by partnering with all departments to leverage technology to support the efficiency and effectiveness of our work. So, for some achievements that I have noted here is we have enhanced our cybersecurity posture. And what I mean by that is we have really looked at all our different systems and how we can do better. And so one of the major things we did is we have a piece of software to help monitor and analyze activity on all our systems. And this year we pushed that out all the way out to every mobile device. So every iPad, every cell phone, any system that we have on our network, so we can centrally watch that activity and address anything that we see. We also identified different roles and responsibilities that we needed to do better at within the department, and specifically assign those to individuals, and then start documenting our processes and procedures as to how we're going to handle those situations. And then also we've launched some ongoing monthly phishing awareness campaigns. And so what that is basically sending out emails to try to see where our staff is at. Do they click on something? Do they interact with a phishing campaign? And the reason of that is not to try to find fault with any of our staff, but just really to give us a better idea of where are we at as an organization, and where can we do better, and where can we offer some more training to help them identify those things that we need to stay away from. Some other things that we achieved was investing in staff development. That was back on the other side, sorry. So one thing we're doing is we're setting up monthly technology trainings for our staff. So we really want to utilize all the systems and software to our full capacity. Like, we really want to get the most out of them. So we specifically, as a group, are trying to put together monthly trainings. Staff can attend, and that way we can just try to train them and show them what we have and how we can use it better. All right, so now we can talk about some of the opportunities and challenges we see within our department. A lot of these topics really fall under both. They can be both an opportunity for us, but also a challenge. So cybersecurity is just going to be an ongoing theme and topic we talk about. There's just no way we are ever going to have 100% everything perfect. So we're always going to get better. We're always going to look for what pieces we might need to improve on, and we're going to make those adjustments. So we're going to look for those opportunities to get better. But also the organizational realignment that we've seen with shifting departments and some of the structural changes we've seen within our organization has been both a challenge and an opportunity for us. So we've been involved heavily with helping physically move people and be a part of that process, but also the realignment could also give us some new opportunities to work together better, to strategize on how we improve and move forward. And then balancing growth and capacity. With technology, there's always trying to figure out where could we use technology to improve things so that we don't have to always add staff. You know, where can we do better? Where, with AI, is there advantages that we could use to use that technology to help offload other tasks from staff to either be more proficient in other areas, or so that we don't have to add more staff to do the same jobs that we're trying to do. And then the GIS integration into the IT department. I'm really excited to work with Ruben closely and to kind of see and learn more about what he does and how that operation affects the whole city, and how we can strategize together and how we're going to even get better in that area as well. So really looking forward to that. And then we have the police safety facilities. That is going to be a challenge, meeting all the needs for those facilities and trying to provide good technical support, and looking at some of the new technology that they may want to implement in those buildings to help them do their job better. So that's an opportunity and a challenge for us as well. And then cloud transformation, just having some options for us to be resilient, to be able to have systems that can grow with us very quickly, and give us lots of different options very easily. Really looking for opportunities there as we look at every system we have, and does it make more sense to have it in a cloud environment, or does it make more sense to have it locally that we manage and support? So looking at all those areas. So expenses, quite significant change in the IT department, and you heard it from other departments. We're refocusing and we're looking at how we're doing things and where things should be. It gives us some great opportunities to negotiate contracts and be able to really see what pieces we need from a citywide organization, and how much we actually spend on all those pieces of software. It'll be very clear and easy to see, but as you see the budget, it goes up quite a bit, and we'll talk about that on the next slide as to why what the major changes are. So the budget realignment, so that's pulling software from different groups, HR, finance, wherever it may be, and bringing those into the IT budget. The other ask that I have in the budget is related all around security and records management modernization. So to keep our data compliant, to make sure we're putting the right type of sensitivity categorization on it, to make sure like sensitive data doesn't get mishandled or go out to the wrong person. How long do we retain that data? Putting policies and policies around it to automatically say if this piece of data we don't need to keep after a certain period of time, it can just go away. So we really need those tools to help us manage all the data that we have in the city and to be able to put that out for all our staff to do it properly. And that's what I'm asking for as part of the budget. And then our IT team, the capacity growth, we just have a lot that gets asked of the IT department, and we want to provide that service that our departments need. And with expanding police and safety facilities, that fire, it is going to be a huge task to keep up with all that. And with data records being requested, with trying to put in all these tools in place, we just can't keep up and do a good job. And so we want to make sure we don't slack on cybersecurity and some of those other pieces, but also be able to provide training and support for our staff. And the only way I feel I can do that properly is to ask for another person in our department.
Ryan, will you go back to your change in your budget, this little table? Yeah.
No.
Okay. So it looks like roughly $400,000 in there, 450. So with that, there's a new position in there, there's some alignment of that. So just to kind of give you an idea what's behind that. And I also think that because we've been desegregated sometimes in our silos that we're trying to break down, there's duplications of some software. So the goal of moving that software underneath one person is to understand, do we have a software that will take care of that software that we don't need to pay 2 subscriptions, and really have an understanding of what we have and do best practice with management of those agreements and services that we're providing. The other thing that Ryan did happening too with the IT departments across all city or all community partners here. So just trying to note that that's great work.
Can you go back to that slide? So the information I'm not seeing is there's going to be a lot of transfers back to IT in regards to software. What I'm looking for is what is the request for new dollars, not because of transfers of software in, but for the department.
If you just want like a total number, I can calculate that for you and get that to you.
Okay, thank you.
In the budgets, once you get access to them.
Plymouth and other communities, that certainly can happen. That certainly can happen here too, and it's sad that we're gonna have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future for cybersecurity, but it's the world we live in.
I just want to make sure I heard that. So 1 FTE increase for them. So I'm just trying to tabulate. We got 3, we have 0.25, 0.5 somewhere. So am I adding those up?
So you're at 1.5 now.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And then theoretically, like we saw in HR, we saw a reduction as they're transferring some of those costs. Will we see those in some of the other departments? Where we've transferred costs to Ryan because he's so accommodating. Rachel's so happy of going, hey, I'll give you that.
The other major shift came out of the finance department to IT.
Sure. And we did talk a little bit about that. So are there other departments that we're gonna see things?
No.
That's agreed.
No, the big focus area this year was some of our larger citywide software packages like UKG or,
Our payroll.
OpenGov, like those bigger contracts we brought over into this IT budget.
Okay.
And we'll tackle some of the other ones down the road, but we just want to get some of those big ones right away.
So we won't see any offsets in other departments related to IT where Ryan is taking the hit on that other than HR and finance.
Trying to take kind of an increment step,
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
Keep
tell you that, so Ryan doesn't have to stand up against the wall and take the 70 lashes.
It's actually a lot to take on too, so we can't do it all at once because it's just a lot to keep track of. So we're trying to be strategic about how we do this.
Thank you.
Okay. Any final questions for Ryan? Otherwise we'll move on to facilities. We have about a half hour left. So we'll try and get through facilities and maybe the police department before we're done. Okay, facilities. This is the last kind of branch of our internal services team. And after the adjustments to our organizational structure, a fleet and facility director position was added to our structure. So that will report kind of at the top of this department. It will also include our mechanics will come over and report up to that fleet and facilities director. That position, we are in the selection process for that role, so the seat is not filled yet. So underneath that, we have our facilities manager, Jason Ringhoffer, who's here tonight in case we have some deeper questions that I can't answer for you. And included in his area, we have custodians, laborers, maintenance workers, and facilities specialists. And it is this team that take care of all of our city facilities and buildings.
Can I just add that the facility director is not new to the budget, it's just a realignment of our current positions. So don't add it in your numbers.
I'm just kidding, you gotta tell me when they show up.
Yep. So in the facilities area, we believe that great communities depend on facilities where they can work, play, and connect. The facilities department creates a better tomorrow by maintaining safe and accessible city facilities for the organization and community. Some of the achievements of this team, implementing a new organizational structure, including establishing a dedicated facilities and fleet director. They're very excited about that change. And they began developing a comprehensive internal preventative maintenance schedule to ensure that we are taking care of what we own and really staying on top of that. It's not that that preventative maintenance wasn't being done in the past, but really developing a comprehensive plan and making sure that we have all of our bases covered and we have a system and process in place to hold people accountable for following through on that. And we also onboarded a new facilities manager this year. So Jason is new to his role and is doing a fantastic job.
If I can add one achievement, and I think it's a pretty big one, it was the restructuring of where offices were. We took over Bevel Hall from where Big Brother's Big Sister, they did a remodel job and created, I think, that here they moved 58 offices of people moving here. It was an enormous amount, and that we did it over the winter months, and it was pretty much all done in-house except for a few contractors for some electrical and some wiring. So tremendous savings from their work that they did to the taxpayers.
The logistics behind that move were incredible to watch. Making sure that we're using office furniture that we already have, only buying what we absolutely need. So they really did a nice job. And it wasn't just our facilities team. We did also have some perk maintenance employees come up and assist the facilities team with that as well. So another good example of that better together value in action.
I would also like to point out that Jason did come with it. He was a building inspector with us and chose to continue to invest with the city and moves that facilities manager role. So thank you, Jason.
Okay, opportunities and challenges. Eliminating cleaning contracts by hiring a full-time custodian. So in the 2026 budget, there was a full-time custodian allocated. So we are in the process of welcoming that new employee to our team. And through that process, Jason and his team have been assessing which cleaning contracts can we now move away from, how can we do a better job, what's the most efficient building assignment, and really making sure that we're doing a good job taking care of our buildings and being efficient in our work. Implementing that standardized preventative maintenance framework. So again, making sure that we have the right systems in place to hold people accountable to that. Fully leveraging Cartograph for comprehensive asset management. Cartograph was new to the organization a couple years ago, and it is a very powerful tool that we continue to grow and take advantage of. When Ryan says we want to make sure that we're utilizing these tools to their fullest advantage, that's what this is really making sure that we're utilizing it to its fullest potential, so we can see the return on that investment. And then aligning internal services to better meet community needs. And that really plays more to, we are trying to move our facilities team to truly be the go-to for all city facilities. So things like cleaning supplies, we don't necessarily need to see that in every single individual department budget. We just need them within the facilities department. So just really aligning that to make sure that, again, we're getting good pricing when we're purchasing products in bulk, and that we're meeting people's needs. Okay, so expenses within the facilities budget, you will see a slight increase to those expenses. And those notable changes, one significant one is increasing some, or allocating some funds to remove some of the hazardous large trees to address safety concerns. You see it throughout the community, but you especially see it up here on the West Hills campus. We have a number of trees that are dead that need to be removed, that are just larger than what our staff can handle in-house. So allocating some funds to contract that work out to make sure it gets addressed. And then reallocating and increasing professional service funding within the facilities budget. We do as much as we can with our city employees, but there are some specialty skills and tasks that we can't do, like electrical work, things like that, that nobody is immune to inflation. So some of those professional service agreements are increasing, so we need to adjust our budget accordingly. Did I miss anything, Jason? Anything additional to add?
Looks good to me.
Okay.
Comment, we should make Jason come up and answer a whole lot of questions. Oh, did I let you go? Just to add this, since being on the building task force for 5 years, from the very beginning, one of our conclusions early was we have way too many buildings. So on your docket, you should always have a little thing of what buildings could we consider getting rid of in the next few years. Decommissioning, is that the proper word you should use? Or where can we consolidate and eliminate buildings, because buildings are expensive.
This is true.
So keep that in mind for us.
We'll do that.
Done.
Jenna, can I add that one FTE then for the changing of the contract to a higher, or is that not an FTE?
That's not an FTE, so I.
That was in the 2026 budget.
That was 26, but it is really nice that they're looking at the cleaning contracts and how we can take those over.
So I'm assuming when Jason was looking at that, he looked at, we're paying for the contract, and we're getting a better value by doing it on our own.
And some efficiencies, because if you remember, that position was created to be law enforcement, to support Jeff's operation over there when people are on vacation, or that's just a big building. But also to add custodian.
Killed. And as you drive around, really concentrate on looking at.
We're asking for staff throughout the community. And, we are right now playing catch up. And we need to address these. So I think as the budget continues to